Gabrielle Barker, and I was asked to speak here today for Great American Teach-In. I am a crime scene tech. I worked this position for 3 years, and I absolutely love it. Although I'm passionate about my job now, I haven't always known what I wanted to do. I actually ventured into cosmetology, figured out it wasn't for me. I ventured into web designing, not sure if MySpace had any influence on that at the time, but it turned out not to be for me either. I eventually enrolled at Valencia as a criminal justice major, pursuing my AA. I took 4 classes a semester and 1 class every summer. My goal was pretty much just to get in and get out. In my first semester, I took Intro to Criminal Justice, Criminal Investigation. I toured the jail, CSI lab, the Criminal Justice Club, and thankfully all of that confirmed my desire to work within this field. Now I know most of you are probably like, well, how did you get here today? After 2 semesters, I began looking for internships. My first instinct was to go to my professor that I had for several classes required for criminal justice. Her name was Professor Sykes. She worked 31 years within the field, so I knew that her name was well known within the OPD walls. Before I began digging into the internships she led me to, I actually applied for 911 dispatch calls, and I scored that job all on my own. I worked that job the remainder of my degree, and when a crime scene tech position opened up, I sent my resume and got an interview the next day. But let's rewind a little. While at Valencia, surprisingly, my criminal justice classes weren't the only ones to prepare me for my career. I remember I had to take this class called New Student Experience. I remember when I was told it was a requirement, I immediately rolled my eyes. I couldn't believe that I was wasting a whole class period on something that wasn't going to help me with my career. But I turned out to be wrong. It was actually a very useful class, and I had a pretty entertaining professor. This class taught me a bunch of useful tools to apply during my stay at Valencia. It taught me my strengths and things I needed to work on within myself. One of the things I needed to work on, I've always struggled with time management. I've been known to try to fit 10-minute drives into 2 minutes, sometimes week-long assignments into 2 hours. It's just not good. Time management was extremely important because, as I said, I worked full-time and I was a full-time student. So I needed to know how to manage all my assignments while also doing the normal stuff like sleep and eat. This class encouraged me to write out a schedule and actually stick to it. I figured out an entire financial plan on how to budget my skills while also staying up with my grades in school. While in this class, I was also assigned to write a purpose paper, which is basically reflecting on my purpose, what my values were, what made me choose the career I did, and just overall my goal in life. It got me thinking, why did I choose this field? In middle school, I picked up my first true crime book. It was actually Helter Skelter, which is based on the Charles Manson murders. After that, it went from OJ to Columbine to Ted Bundy and so on. I've basically always been obsessed with every aspect of murder, so to say. The mind behind the crimes, the steps it takes to get the person behind the crimes, and overall just to see why the crimes even occurred. I mean, I can't be the only one that would watch Law and Order or Forensic Files and try to figure out the killer before the show would even tell you, right? Aside from being interested in law enforcement, I also felt for a long time there were major flaws within our justice system, and I actually still feel that way. I believe that sparked my drive a little bit as well. Anyway, another helpful assignment I had was a career interview. I had the pleasure of reaching out to a crime scene tech named Natasha. She worked for the Tampa Police Department. She was in her position for about 2 years when I spoke with her. And she's actually the one that influenced me to apply for the 911 dispatch job because that's how she got in. She told me that they are more willing to hire from within, and she was right. I've sat pretty much where all of you have today. I've worked hard on my assignments, I've stressed over them, and I've wondered if all of this work is going to be handy one day. Am I actually going to be able to use my degree? Am I going to find a job in my career? And as cliche as it sounds, it's possible. As long as you work for it, anything's possible. If I can do it, you can do it. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, although I'm using my degree right now, I'm actually enrolled at UCF to start next semester to pursue my bachelor's degree. I'm not sure where I want to go with it, but I know I want to experience it all. I remember my professor that I mentioned earlier. She worked there. She worked in the field for 31 years. She did everything from corrections, probation officer, to even crime analyst. That's my motivation. I want to experience everything. I want to help wherever I can. Maybe even try to pursue juveniles. Who knows? But we'll see. Thank you for having me today.